Hi, are you a Christian accountant currently feeling stuck in your career? Feeling underappreciated and overworked? Well, I am Sharika Sanders, and with over 15 years of corporate accounting experience, I am here to help you go from career stagnation to leadership. And I use my 15 plus years of experience going through multiple transitions from mergers and acquisitions, reverse mergers, divestitures, you name it, I have done it. And I have been able to make those tests in my life as part of my current testimony. My misery, in some cases, now my message. And so today I wanted to share with you a message that I have learned since I've stepped away from the corporate space that I wish I knew when I was in the corporate space. And that's the message of rest, specifically Sabbath rest. And I know it sounds contradictory to say that, or for most people, it may sound contradictory to say, I'm going to help you go from career stagnation into leadership and, learning how to grow and advance in your career and all of those things. We typically think of more work or more things that we need to do in order to achieve that next level in our careers. But it's not necessarily about that. What we fail to realize is that when we make rest a priority, when we make rest part of our day to day, a normal thing, and stop thinking of it as being lazy or even being selfish. But when we turn rest again into a priority, we end up being much more productive. And it's during those, well, first, let me explain what I mean by rest. And again, specifically Sabbath rest, because I am a faith driven career advancement mentor. And so I do like to make sure that I reference the Bible and specific scriptures to what it is that I'm speaking about. And so, first, to define rest. And rest isn't necessarily taking, Sabbath rest isn't about, oh, I need to take a nap on Sundays. Sabbath rest is about taking the time to decompress, to spend time with God, whether that's, and not just, oh, I went to church, so now I've had my Sabbath. No, it's being intentional about your time, typically one on one time, but whether it's reading your word, whether it's listening to praise and worship music, maybe it is taking a nap and allowing your body to be refreshed. But it's doing those things that give honor to God, doing those things where you can take a time out and say thank you. Thank you for all that you have given me. Thank you for all that you have done. Thank you for the things that you continue to do for me. Thank you for the things that you have in store for me that I don't even know about, that my mind can't even fathom. Sabbath rest is giving honor to God because he has given us the gift, and it is a gift of rest. And so I want to first call out two areas in the Old Testament where God talks about Sabbath and the differences that they mean for me. So the first one is in Exodus 28 through 11. And side note, Exodus 10. I'm specifically focusing on 10. My apologies, but you can read 8 through 11. And so Exodus 10. But on the seventh day is the Sabbath to the Lord your God. On it you shall not do any work, neither you nor your son or daughter, nor your male or female servant, nor your animals, nor any foreigner residing in your towns. So that's in Exodus, right? And just to put this in perspective, this is where God has Moses has led the Israelites out of Egypt, and they are now in this wilderness space where they are, and they stay in that wilderness for 40 years as they make their way into the promised land. If those of you who are familiar with the story, they didn't have to stay. That journey wasn't supposed to take 40 years, but it was through their unfaithfulness and sinning and all of these other things why God allowed it to take for it to take that long for them. Goodness. So anyway, Exodus is when they're first introduced to the 10 Commandments, and one of those commandments is keeping the Sabbath holy, and that's where Sabbath is introduced. Okay, and then the second verse that I would like to call out verses from Deuteronomy 5, verses 12 through 15. Work 6 days, do everything you have to do, but the seventh day is a Sabbath, a rest day. no work, not you, your son, your daughter, your servant, your maid, your ox, your donkey, or any of your animals, and not even the foreigner visiting your town. And so the message in Deuteronomy was, I feel it was a command. In Exodus, God was introducing the commandments to the Israelites, and the commandments are our instruction, our instructional guide of how to live and all the things that how we are to, love thy neighbor, do not kill, do not steal, all of these different things. Do not put, thou shalt not put any other gods before me. These we were given the we Israelites were given the instruction manual, and us now the instruction manual through the 10 commandments in Exodus. And so in Deuteronomy, this information is repeated again. This is from Moses now telling the Israelites that this is right before they enter their promised land, and this is in their last year of the wilderness. And Moses, through some sinning of his own, is not able to enter the promised land with the Israelites. And so the book of Deuteronomy spends a large portion of the time with Moses talking to them, saying, hey, remember all of the miracles that God has done for you. Make sure that you pass the message of God on to for generations to come. Don't forget God once you get your blessing. All the stuff that we need to really remind ourselves of now. But don't forget God. Remember the commandments. Remember the Sabbath day. So I feel like these were some commands and reminders like, hey, God is about to bless you all more than you could imagine. Don't forget God. Stay true to him. Be obedient. And so it's part of that guide where Sabbath is mentioned. And I love the fact that it's mentioned, because sometimes we get in our promised land, and that promised land may be that promotion. The promised land may be the new job. The promised land can be, a family even. And so we start doing all the things, and we're like, God bless him with this, so I want to take care of it. God didn't bless you with anything for you to take your attention away from him. And so if you are taking your attention away from God to focus on that other thing, you are now making that other thing an idol. You are now making it a lowercase g God, not lowercase, a lowercase g God. And so Sabbath is our way of taking that pause, of taking that reset, of saying, you know what? God blessed me with this. And so why would I dishonor him by putting this in front of him, in front of spending time with him? And don't say, oh, we can validate everything to ourselves. God gave me this job. God knew what came with this job, or he knows who I am as a person, so he understands. No, he doesn't. Now he is patient, and he will be patient with you, but not always. He will correct you. And so the purpose of this message is for you to take that moment to stop and have that correction by choice versus by force. Because while I would want God to correct me any day before man, I still don't want the consequences of sinning against God. And not acknowledging the Sabbath is sinning against God. And so remembering, number one, the Sabbath is a gift, and understanding that all of those things that we try to put in front of God, and we say, well, he knows, I have to clean clothes. I have to go do all of these different things. No, you don't. No, you don't. If you have a child, or your parent, or some person who's really close to you, if they were to call you right now and say, I need you, or something has happened and I need you to come right now, you will drop whatever you are doing and come to their rescue. No question about it. And so when God says, I need you to acknowledge me, I need you to spend time with me, and you say, well, Lord, I can't do that because I need to focus on my blessings and all this stuff that you've given me. And so I'll talk to you later. I'll check in with you at another time. No. He will only be patient with us for so long. So understand that we always have an option. We have the control. The Sabbath is important. It is a day of rest. Whatever day, if it's Saturday for you, if it's Sunday for you, if it's your every Wednesday, whatever your day is, Just be intentional about spending time with God. And what you'll realize is that as He downloads things for you, as He helps you to solve things that you thought about over and over and couldn't figure out, and after spending time and just not focusing on the things, but solely focusing on God, and you realize now you have all the answers to so many things that you couldn't figure out before. The writer's block is now gone. Oh, now my creative juices are flowing because you were intentional about taking time to spend time with God. And now He's able to download things into you and say, let me enhance that gift that I've given to you. Let me enhance those things that I've blessed you with and shown you, and let me show you how to take care of them. Let me give you wisdom. Let me impart courage. All of these things that we need and we cry out to God for, He wants to give to us, but we need to take the time to spend with Him so He can do that. So take the time, look in your schedule, be deliberate about finding time to spend with God, and He will honor that time. I guarantee you, you will not only feel blessed, you will not only just as a great feeling of fulfillment and feeling fed. I like to say feeling fed, feeling full, feeling fed off of the word and off of the things that God has imparted into us. But we'll also realize that it will help us to then manage what the days to come and whatever it is to come. So take the time, acknowledge your Sabbath, have the rest, spend time with God, read your word, listen to, music, have praise and worship, or you don't have to have music. Just open your mouth and give Him all the praise and glory and honor that He deserves. Pray. And not just please give me, but thank you for who you are. And repent for all the things that we have done wrong, known and unknown, seen and unseen. And He will honor that time. He doesn't ask a lot out of us. He really, really doesn't. And I need to go to church and then Bible study and that. God doesn't, for what He gives us, for how He shows up for us, for how He blesses us. The little bit that we can do, that we're able to do, it's nothing compared to all that He continues to do for us. I don't want God to turn His head away from me for 1 second, because that second will be all that's needed to end my life. And so I thank God for being God. I thank you for taking the time, if you're still listening, to listen to this video. And I hope, if you're not already observing the Sabbath, that there was some conviction and you now feel obliged to do just that, to find that time to spend time with God. And if you are observing your Sabbath, then thank you. God thanks you. And He will continue to bless that time. Until the next time, I am Sharika. Goodbye.